Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing a night walk, St. Patrick's Day. As you can see, it was raining. It did stop raining. I was going to go for my walk about 2 hours ago before it got dark. But this right here is Val's Drive-In. And what this is an old-fashioned, started in 1959, a 1950s burger joint drive-in, where you drive in here with your car and the pretty waitresses in white shorts and red shirts come up and take your order. And then they put the tray on the side of your car. They make their own root beer. They're also cash only. They're also Republicans and they're Trump voters. So come in here and support Val's Drive-In. 24-hour ATM. They got batting cages in the back. You can come in and hit some baseballs. Very popular spot among citizens in Lewiston. So I figured I'd stop in while I was going by. Anyway, see that sign says since 1959. It's 37 degrees. Now tonight's walk is not in 4K, and there's a reason for that. Recording at night in 4K uses so much SD card space, and the file size would be so big that I'm not going to bother with it. So we're doing 1080p, which is fine. I also want to let you know this is a new camera setting for nighttime. This is the one I've settled on. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But it should be watchable. When I put it on widescreen, it looks terrible. Too shaky. And when I have it on linear, it's pretty nice. So where am I going to tonight? Well, we are going to go see a cool church. It's about 2.5 miles there. It'll be about 2.5 miles back. I'll get my 5 miles in. I've already had somebody yell at me for crossing the road, and they said they couldn't see me. I'm wearing black and gray camouflage cargo pants. And of course we have a Pizza Hut here, which is nice. I actually like their food. Even though I have to admit, after I have one of their pizzas, which isn't very often, maybe once or twice a year, I could feel my heart beating heavy. So most of the food you buy today is poison if you eat it on a consistent basis. But anyway, I did bring a wiping rag this time. I looked for my little squeezy thing, and the reason why I wanted it was if you get misting on the lens of the camera, like my last walk, there's a lot of water sitting on the lens. Just a small little dot of water can blotch out most of the picture because it's such a small lens. So right now it's not misting at all. The road's wet because it just stopped raining a while ago. Anyway, I wanted my little squeezy thing that blows air There's a guy in Japan, I watch his walks. That's what he uses. Seems to be very effective. And he also lists the camera that he uses. And he does have a nice nighttime picture, but he uses a gimbal. This has a nighttime picture too that's beautiful. But the only way it's beautiful is to take the Steadicam off. The boost. So this is a compromise. I took the boost off, which what it does is when you're going up and down like this, it smooths you out. Problem with that is these points of light in the distance get all shaky and streaky. So can't use the boost. If I take the hyper smooth off, then everything is too shaky, like a cell phone camera with no stabilization. So that's not good either. We got some used cars here. Used buggies. That's not good. Oh, that's a car repair place. You got cars that have been in accidents. So that's not good to have that next door. Used car dealership. It's like they put cars that have been in accidents in there and fix them up and then resell them. I don't want a car that's been in an accident. So anyway, that's somebody selling a snowblower on the corner for $600, which is actually a good buy these days. Don't know what's wrong with it. Don't know why they're selling it. I'll tell you right now, if they're selling a snowblower for $600, there's something wrong with it. Normally that'd be a good buy, but if you've priced out new snowblowers this year, you'll know it's not. And the reason why I say that is a new snowblower is ridiculous money now. For a snowblower in 2019, 2020 that has heated grips, a headlight, and things like that, electric start, plus the bigger mouth opening on it, 28-inch. That same snowblower now well, let's see what's going on here. They're not supposed to be stopped there. Asking directions probably. Okay. Okay. Don't know what's going on with that. St. Patrick's Day. People are partying, I guess. Just picking up a pipe out of the road. Don't know what's going on there. Anyway, lost my train of thought. Snowblowers, yes. One that cost $980 in 2019, 2020 is now $1,600 something. It has almost doubled in price since Joe Biden's been president. That's not a joke, not making it up. People like to go online and try to debunk that, and now go ahead if you want to. They always search out some model that's still the same price as that, but it's not the one I was talking about. Then I show them the one I was talking about, and they go, oh, it has almost doubled. And that, my friends, has to do with an executive order with climate, okay? That is a climate executive order. Just like last month, Joe Biden signed an executive order on refrigeration, air conditioning and refrigerators because of refrigerants. And they're also going to mandate that they upgrade their refrigerants to an even more eco-friendly. So there's less of those are going to be imported. They put a restriction on how many can be imported. So there's going to be less for you to choose from to buy. And we all know what less supply does when you have demand for air conditioners and refrigeration. It means the price goes up, just like the snow blowers. So quite possibly, a $600 air conditioner, by the time you need one again, will be $1,200. They're doing this on purpose. They did it in Canada, Australia too. This is part of their climate initiative with the globalists, WEF. So, anyway, the World Economic Forum has been messing around with Ireland. And in Ireland, what they did was they had a referendum on their ballot because the government wants to change what a definition of a woman is in their constitution and make it the law of the land. They want to change the name mother in their constitution to caregiver or care person. That's what they called it. So that means anybody can call themselves a care person now. So this is definitely was an agenda for trans people. And the voters resoundingly rejected it. And I think their government is in shock. They can't believe that people think this is ridiculous. Because they live in a bubble. And they work for the WEF. So that's what happened with that. As we got Bork's Market across the street. All right. I'm going to go look at a church. Not the one on the hill here. I have a different one in mind. So I didn't walk yesterday. We went shooting yesterday. And it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. And I have a couple of new videos on the channel from that. Still putting together the Panther 308 video. I got a little bit more done. With regard to shooting and sighting it. Also shot the Ruger Mini 14 quite a bit, which was nice. Fantastic rifle. So my brother was having some issues with his, with kind of a stovepipe and also failure to eject. And I think it just needs a cleaning. Because the newer Mini 14s, the 581 series, are phenomenally fantastic and reliable. So I think I'll have him clean the chamber in his with my little 223 cleaning tool I made. It's a wire brush for an AR, and I bent the brush into an L so you can put it in the chamber. I think that's all he needs to do. because he had a shell casing stuck in there and he had a failure to eject. I think his chamber is dirty. Maybe he got some oil in there and it burned off in there. It doesn't take much to take up that tolerance space to cause problems. It has to be clean. So we'll stick the old wire brush in there. So anyway, I hope this looks okay on my walk. I did a test run a couple, 3 weeks ago with this setting. I added a little bit of ISO, the maximum of 800 instead of 400. That was too dark. So I also changed the frame rate from 60 to 30, which lets more light in but also causes more distortions. So I found a happy medium. At least I think so. Now what's amazing to me is at nighttime, it's amazing to me, I don't walk at night very often on the main strip like this. I usually go on side roads. But it's amazing to me how on the main strip, every time you'll get people go by yelling something at you. And you don't know what they're doing, so it makes me nervous. I don't know why people do that. I mean, I look normal. I'm wearing a hoodie, some gloves, a knit cap, and some gray and black camo cargo pants. Nothing extraordinary or out there. So don't know what's going on. But people are letting me know they're there. Not in a tremendous amount, but before I started recording, I got yelled at by somebody. I think they were upset they couldn't see me. I was like, well, first of all, I saw you. About 8:30 at night. It was the only car coming in both lanes. So some woman was screeching. So here's Grant's Bakery. They've been around since I was a little kid. Been around for a long time. Easter basket treats, sugar cookies in Easter shapes. Should really confuse them. I'll go in and ask for a sugar cookie shaped like Jesus. Let's see if they can do that, because we all know Easter's not even about Jesus anymore with a lot of people. I'm bitter, damn it. I'm friggin' bitter. There's a nails and spa place. Nails. Nope, somebody's smoking pot. I can smell it. Yep. Legal in Maine. That's legal in Maine. I'll add that in the commentary. Recreational is legal. Whatever makes you tutti frutti. I don't need that garbage. I still find it funny though that there's people that can't get their rent paid, but they got money for weed. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Then we have the head shop across the street. They got vape stuff, bowls, bongs, glass pipes. Get your bongs here. Get your red hot bongs here. like to take a second to say hi to V-Man and his lady friend. Hope she recovers and gets out of recovery in the hospital soon after some physical therapy. Thank you very much for watching, and I will take your advice. If I decide to do a live again, it won't be while walking. I will just do a live from the house so I can have a nice beautiful connection with a camera that doesn't shake around. I'll pull up a chair with a device I can type replies on in the chat, and I will also give a heads up ahead of time so people can have a few days in advance. I will set a time and a date, and hopefully I don't have the flu or anything. So anyway, shooting yesterday was really nice. It was a lot of fun. I shot some black powder, and again, 37 degrees tonight. I'll apologize ahead of time if you hear any sniffling, snorting, or otherwise noises coming from my proboscis. It's about 5 or 6 inches above my nose. That's where I'm wearing the camera. So we all just will have to live with it. But anyway, I had a nice night walk I had recorded, and the first half of it I tested one setting, the other half I tested another. The first half I tested it on looked pretty terrible, shaky, even though I had the stabilizing on. That's what was causing it in widescreen. There was like too much for the software to do. So I cut a little bit of the screen off. That's what we have now. And while you will see some anomalies occasionally, for the most part, it's pretty tolerable. And when I tested it, I really was bouncing up and down on purpose, holding the camera in my hand, really vigorously walking like probably what you would see if I was running. And I noticed the objects close to me would shake up and down, but the ones in the distance did it. So that was the purpose of that test. So that was the purpose of that. So I think this is the best it's going to get for night walking. I hope it's not too horrible. We got an Oiving 339 for gas, which is higher than what it should be for Maine. Should be about 270, 280. So the winter break is almost over, and we had the light turns green. I'll scoot across here and get out of people's way. So as we've seen, we have the February, which is the lowest price you're going to see for the year generally, supply and demand. Much of the country was milder than it should have been, so it might have affected that a little bit. But the prices are going up. And if it's $3.49 now, it should be over $4 this summer. And I got pretty pissed off at the Biden administration today. Sorry, I got a vent. That son of a bitch. Well, Trump had a rally yesterday, And he starts talking about China building factories in Mexico, automotive factories. He said the Chinese are going to be invading the United States with vehicle sales, manufacture, by having them built in Mexico. And they plan on selling Chinese-made electric vehicles to Americans. Trump said that's not going to happen. Vote for me, please. I will put an end to it, he said. And then he said, Chairman Xi, if you are listening, don't know if you are or not, but if you are, you're not going to be able to do that when I get reelected. Then he starts going on saying, if China is allowed to do this in Mexico, it's going to be a bloodbath economically. That's what he said. So of course the media took that out of context and said, if I'm not reelected, there's going to be a bloodbath. Media mentioned nothing about Chinese cars, factories in Mexico, just that Trump says if he's not reelected, it'll be a bloodbath. The most irresponsible, egregious violations of the media yet to date. It is absolutely mind-boggling that they can do that and get away with it, where the Biden administration issued an official statement about Trump's saying there would be a bloodbath, comparing him to a dictator. I couldn't even believe it. We are at levels now where the media is so embarrassingly biased and playing propaganda for the Biden administration that it truly made me sick. This was the worst thing they've done since the Charlottesville find people on both sides misquote out of context. So the media knew Trump was talking about cars and the automotive industry. Trump also talked about immigration, saying that many of these immigrants are horrible people. So the headline says, Trump says immigrants are horrible people. They're trying to dissuade the Hispanic vote that he's getting and the black vote. You know, racist, racist, racist again. Racist, racist. And I don't think people are buying it. There's too many media sources now. And I liked how Elon Musk came out on X and said NBC News was incredibly irresponsible for misinformation. They reported the facts wrong, and they knew it was wrong. So at this point, people seem to be used to the media doing that, so they're probably not buying it to begin with. And if they are, it's the same people that you still see wearing masks, who are idiots and buffoons and easily led simple people. So that's what they did, and it really ticked me off today. Pissed off a lot of other people too. But in the end, this is actually helping Trump. It really is. So we got a bank sign here. I guess it's not gonna tell us the temperature today. So the hell with it. As part of St. Mary's Hospital across the street. We've got two hospitals here, this one and Central Maine Medical Center. And the Central Maine Medical Center is the one that Stephen King was treated at when he got hit, before he was transported to Portland to have more surgeries, back when he got hit by that guy in a van. You know, and a lot of people have forgotten that, and because it was Stephen King, they never really covered the driver of the van's point of view. He wasn't drunk, he wasn't high, he just drifted in the breakdown lane and hit somebody. He wasn't paying attention. This obviously was his fault. Absolutely. But Stephen King made his life crap, filed lawsuits, and the guy ultimately killed himself, committed suicide. So did he do that because of Stephen King? I think so. He may have had problems besides, but you know, what do you do when you go up against somebody who is taking in $70 million a year in revenue, residuals from his books and stories and movies and DVD sales and rentals and streaming services, book deals? So what do you do when somebody has upwards of $1 billion in the bank and you're just a schmuck in a van that hit Stephen King, everybody's god and hero? So I don't know if that's why the guy killed himself. I don't want to say anything libelous, because that son of a bitch will come after me. But anyways, it is a nice night for a walk. It's going to be a little cool for the next 2 or 3 days. Highs in the mid to upper 30s. I did see at one point we were forecast to get 6 inches of snow, and they changed that to just rain, as they changed the temperature to be 42 degrees instead of 36. I do not want wet snow. Now, I have not primed the snowblower for storage yet, because I don't completely believe we're going to get away scot-free this easy. We are March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And it looks like we're just going to get rain. But we have had 2 feet of snow April 12th, I think, or 13th. 1 year in the 80s, a long time ago. I don't anticipate that. I think winter's done. But we might have a couple of days where it's a little sloppy, then turns to rain. And we are going to go back up into the 40s and 50s after the next 3 days. So we'll get past this week, and then I think I'll put some gas treatment in there, run it for a few minutes to get that through. And next year when I start it up, I'll run some gum out, which actually does work very well. It's not a harmful chemical. It's petroleum based. But pretty much anything that's petroleum based is safe for your engine. So there's a lot of people that try to tell you not to do things and it'll make it run terrible. No, what makes it run terrible is a clogged fuel bowl on the damn carburetor. Because then it won't run, and when it does, it'll run weakly. That's that freaking crap they put in the fuel for the climate. I can't imagine that it's saving the environment. Sure as hell isn't saving anybody from taking Advil from the headache they get from it, that's for sure. I had to take the carburetor apart in the snowblower a couple of years ago. It was a clogged fuel bowl. And how you unclog that is you take a sewing needle or something similar and you shove it up inside the fuel feed from the bowl to the carburetor, which was plugged up from gum and crap. So you use gum out, which actually works very well. There's plenty of camera footage online, both professional and amateur, of people with fiber optic cameras before and after running a tank of gas with gum out. It will remove the carbon from your valves in your vehicle. Put your timing back on track and help your engine purr nicely with all the power it should have. And it's safe. Perfectly safe. Good old-fashioned gum out. Alright, so now, to go where I'm going, I gotta walk through a part of town that's a little bit unsavory. I used to live down here in the early 2000s. It was a different neighborhood then. Since then, in the past 20 years, it has gone to crap. So I will keep my head on a swivel, mind my own business. Things ain't like they used to be. Things ain't like they used to be. Fortunately, tonight I'm dressed like I belong in this neighborhood. That's how I dress when I go on my walks. I got an old tattered hoodie. It's one of my favorites. And I have some cargo pants and some gloves and my hat. And I do have a camera, so if something happens, we'll have evidence. We'll have the evidence. Which was kind of funny because I didn't have it the other day when I was doing groceries. And this car, this woman was having a fight with some guy. And another guy that was with them was kind of reacting like he was nervous about something, so he backed away from the car and was standing off to the side. And she's yelling at him. And I can't really tell for sure what she said, but it was something to do with I'll get you or I'll shoot you or something like that. So I didn't feel like witnessing a murder. I started my car and said, well, I'm not going to sit here because it'd be just my luck, you know. I'll sit there to see what's going on. Neither one of them looked like anybody I'd want to help to begin with. And I said, well, I'd probably get shot from across the parking lot. Because we all know how far a 9mm would travel, and we know that's the favorite round of everybody. 9mm, mofo. So, I'm not going to make any comment on their ethnicity. You probably know already. They were talking trash and they were going at it, boy. She was angry. So I'm going to cut across the street. This is a one-way street, which doesn't matter around here. Used to live around here, just like it didn't matter there were stop signs. Every once in a while somebody would go through one and T-bone somebody. Yep. And on this street here, I remember there used to be a drug dealer on this, around the corner. Mostly sold pot, I think. That was a long time ago in the 90s. Now they're selling more serious things. Probably selling people. I don't want to get abducted and sold into slavery. Now this right here used to be Fry School. Now it's the apartments. I don't know if it's called the Fry School Apartments, but that yellow building here was built. Let's see what this says. Fry School Apartments, right on the sign. So, I used to go to school here in kindergarten. Also came here for 5th grade. I had Mr. Pasekis. And for kindergarten, I had Ms. Hussey. Ms. Hussey. Now, was Ms. Hussey a hussy? I wouldn't know. I remember she was cute, small. Now this fence that used to be right here, this is a newer fence than when I went to school. There was a fence that was the playground. I remember one day a newspaper reporter came up and wanted to ask the kids questions, how they felt about their first day back at school. So I answered the questions, and I was in the newspaper. I still have that clipping somewhere. Circa 1975, 76, I think it was 75 or 74. Because I remember my 1976 photo. I had the typical uncut 70s hair for a minor back then, 10 years old. Once in a while you see these movies and this kid looks, it's like, you know, that was me in 1976. There's one kid in that movie, Close Encounters, and so anyway, oh, somebody's out picking night crawlers. That's what that is. So this was the purpose of coming here. St. Peter and Paul Church. Beautiful church, Catholic church. My family belongs to this church. So this church used to have bomb shelter in it for the Cold War. There used to be a sign on the door that had the nuclear symbol for fallout shelter. So they had food and stuff like that stored in here. I don't know if they still do or not. The Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul, one of the beautiful churches in New England, actually. And unfortunately, the neighborhood around it has gone to pot. So there's an elevator. There's a door here that does not have the nuclear logo on it like it used to, and that's an elevator. So I'm sure the door is locked. Yep. I didn't think it would be unlocked. But this is a long cathedral. You can look this up on Google Maps and see an aerial view of it. They have renovated it, and as you can see, the sky is clear now. Absolutely beautiful. So we'll take a walk. I specifically wanted to walk to this. It's 2.5 miles. And there is somebody down on the lawn picking night crawlers. We used to do that. I remember when we were kids, my older brother wanted to go fishing. And we would help him pick night crawlers. And that was kind of difficult to learn how to do because you had to be quick. And you had to walk softly because they felt vibration and they could sense you coming towards them. So it looks like somebody is going to be going fishing. They're picking night crawlers. So this is the view out into Lewiston. There's Lewiston City Hall. There's the let's call it a crap crater, part of Lewiston. I can call it that because I used to come from there. Actually, I could say I still do, but it's not the same as it was. But this is the beautiful church. Absolutely gorgeous. What do you think of that, V-Man? Isn't that gorgeous? They don't make them like this anymore. Honest and for true. Let's see, let's walk over here. What do we got over here? We have a bag with a target on it. We got a cane thing. Looks like a blanket and pillows. Probably some person's homeless stuff. My best guess. problem these days around here. So we'll get this, don't know how much you can see down there, but we'll get this nice old wrought iron fence, which is worth a fortune now. Anything that's real wrought iron is worth a fortune, because you can't buy anything made in the United States anymore unless it's custom. And oh, one of these, yeah. Oh, I could see some daylight through this crack. And we get a loose tile. Get a loose tile right there, and there's some daylight in there, or lights I should say. So there's something down there. It's like a removable ceiling. Quite bizarre, actually. So there's definitely somebody stashing some of their homeless stuff. See, out of sight you can't see that, but it's a little cubby hole like this, and they have that around the corner. What a life. People are so poor they had to pawn their muffler. I keyed. Alright, so we're going to walk down here and record a little bit now that the unsavory riffraff is cleaned out. And chapel entrance. A beautiful statue of Jesus holding a lamb. So that slab I saw on top of that room was a no trespassing. So we got this side of the church over here, and it's a cathedral. It's shaped like a crucifix. That's why I said you should look at the aerial view of it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's been here since, God, I'm gonna test my history on that. Late 1700s, early 1800s maybe. It's one of Lewiston's landmarks. In fact, after that mass shooting they had a prayer vigil out here on the grass for people. And we have some stairs here where they have closed these stairs off. You used to be able to walk up this. So they closed these stairs off. And we got some brush here. I got to be careful not to trip and fall because it's dark. Hopefully you can see a little bit anyway. I'm gonna see if this guy got any night crawlers. I'm gonna bother him, ask him if he got any. Oh, okay, that's why they closed it. This stair right here is unsafe. Looks like it's separated. So the ground shifted here or something. They gotta fix that. They don't want to get sued. I don't blame them. That's all people do now. So, oh, picking night crawlers.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, we've done that a lot.
Yeah. Hey, the price is right.
Yes. Yeah, we used to do that a lot when we were kids. Before this.
Church or what?
I don't know.
Look at people these days, huh?
Yeah. Is that what they were doing? Don't know.
They're hauling each other, going up and down the street.
Well, I noticed up in that cubby hole up there, there's a blanket and a pillow.
Yeah.
And I think they're squatting. Yeah.
Well, I'm going through that at my house.
Wow. So I grew up on Maple Street, Blake Street, Pierce Street.
My grandmother grew up on Knox Street, so I lived on Lincoln Street.
Yeah, this was in the 70s, 80s. Yeah, so I was in that neighborhood.
It was a big difference then.
Yeah. Probably about 1975, 76. I was 5 or 6 years old. I helped my brother, who was 10 years older, would pick night crawlers off the lawns across the
I
street.
used to pick them and sell them to dags. And
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. I just pick them for myself now, save money.
Yep.
Jesus, so what, $2 a dozen now? Something like that's crazy.
Yeah. You can't even get freaking an economic break on worms.
Yeah, I don't really have to bend over. The bacon's right here.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just go down here, one swipe, and I get plenty.
All right, man.
Have a good one, man.
Well, have a good night.
If I see anything strange, I'll let you know. I'll call somebody.
Yes, that would be great.
No problem.
Thank you. Hi. So that's kind of funny. They're picking night crawlers to go fishing, and you just heard me talk about those. And beautiful church is okay. So I got a feeling those two young people we saw were in fact squatters, and for some reason I must look really official, and I think it has to do with my personality that I carry. I kind of speak well to people, and there's been a few times in my lifetime where somebody said, "Are you a police officer? You sound like one." I don't know what that means, but I've heard that a few times. And that guy right there thought I was associated with the church, asking me if somebody was breaking in or something, like I was security. So, pretty interesting. So here we are with Fry School Apartments again. They also did the same thing with Jordan School Apartments, and these schools were all built part of the Reconstruction. The Great New Deal, remember that? It's where our government went into debt coming out of the Great Depression. And in the 1930s, starting in the early 30s, they went across the country building schools like crazy everywhere. So I'm sure somebody got rich off those contracts. They were all brick. And you got Wallace School in Auburn, Edward Little High School, which is no longer Edward Little High School. We have Jordan School here, Fry School, and we had Pettingill School, which they tore down, and Walton School. None of them are schools anymore, really. They've been converted to apartments. And so it's one of those things. A lot of those buildings are getting old, and they renovated them for apartments. And what they had to do, which I'm sure was very expensive, was they had to do asbestos removal when they did that. So, would not surprise me if each one of these converted schools, which was probably the idea of some politician somewhere, ended up costing more than if they had just torn it down and rebuilt a new school, a modern one. Would not surprise me. I mean, it's possible that that's not the case, but these days with contractors and crooked politicians and who have cousins that own construction companies and insulation companies, and Uncle Joe owns a roofing company, blah blah blah. Just make a bid. I'll make sure you get the highest bid. We'll make it happen, Uncle Joe. Don't worry about it. It's only taxpayer money. Who gives a crap? There's oodles of it. An endless supply. So, this is Howard Street that I used to live on. Started to turn into a crap hole when we moved, and now it is a bona fide crap hole. Bona fide. Well, now I'm going to head back. I don't know why my Google app isn't talking to me. it's on. I didn't lose my phone. I'm at 3 miles, so we'll definitely get 5 miles in, maybe a little extra. This is Bradley Street. I had a couple of friends live on, Paul Goslin and also Adam Johnson. Also Paul. Used to go watch cartoons after school because they had cable and we were too po. We were po white trash back in the day. Back in the day. All right. Got out of the neighborhood alive. Hot damn. Life is good. So I was watching a couple of interviews this week with one of my favorite actors, Kurt Russell. And I love Kurt Russell because he's from Hollywood and he never comes out and says he's a conservative. He doesn't say anything really, but he's done an awful lot for Second Amendment. He likes to run his mouth about that in a good way. He's pro Second Amendment, and he does have a home here in Maine with Goldie Hawn on a lake. One of those fancy cabins. I don't think he spends most of his time here though. Tucker Carlson does too. Dolly Parton does. John Travolta does. A few other ones. Maine's a beautiful state. People know it, and you can actually be free when you come here for now. So I'm sure Kurt Russell loves his firearms. That day he was on The View, shredding them apart over the Second Amendment. They wanted guns banned, and he reminded them what the Second Amendment was, and they did not have an argument for it. It was one of the best moments in television. Of course, he hasn't been back on there since, but I was watching a thing recently. Kurt Russell was doing interviews about his career on a couple shows. I guess he's on a Paramount Network show called Monarch, the Legacy of something or other, or Monarch the Legacy, something like that. I watched the pilot episode. Pilot episode stars his son, and you can see Kurt Russell in his face and hear it in his voice sometimes. It's quite uncanny. And Kurt Russell plays that kid's father on the show, from what I hear, or a character on the show. I haven't gotten that far yet, but that was, so if I have that wrong, forgive me, but he is on the show with his son. He plays a character on the show, for sure. And that is a TV series on right now. So, anyway, so he was talking about his career. He was talking about movies that, you know, and he goes, I'm not going to be boastful and say Tombstone's the best Western that was ever made, but that's what I'm told by people. And he goes, I guess I have to believe him. And it really was quite a special movie. I've seen many times. You never get tired of it. It's one of the few films where you know all the dialogue, and that makes it fun waiting for certain scenes. I mean, how many films can do that, really? So he was talking about how that film came together, and it's pretty interesting. And he was talking about his other movies he's done. He's just one of the greats. Really like him a lot. And I bring it up because I saw these two interviews and I realized he's getting old. I mean, old, like in his 70s, maybe even coming up on 80. I mean, for crying out loud, Clint Eastwood's 94. I saw a picture of him this week. "94 years old, joking around with somebody." So Kurt Russell was talking about Quentin Tarantino, and how Quentin Tarantino likes using Kurt Russell because he's a fan of Kurt Russell too. So that was really cool to listen to that. He had a whole bunch of stories he was telling. The scene where they were filming Death Proof, and if you're not familiar with how they make a movie, they close off the roads for a few miles when they have to do car chase scenes to make it safe. And he said they're filming. And Kurt Russell, if you don't know, used to race cars. He actually won a championship when he was younger. Didn't know if you knew that. So he said you have to run up behind the camera car in the opposite lane because you need to get the camera shot. So both lanes of the road are taken up, which is why they get a permit from the town and they close the road off. Well, he said he was driving about 90 miles an hour in a Dodge Charger, which doesn't handle very well because it's a Dodge Charger from the 60s. And out of nowhere, he said, a truck, he said, was coming at him head on in the wrong lane. He was in the wrong lane. They were in the right lane. Apparently they didn't know there was a movie being filmed. And here comes a camera car, and Kurt Russell driving in a Dodge Charger doing 90 miles an hour. And Kurt Russell said he swerved and avoided it and pulled over. And he said he didn't say a word. He just turned the key off in the ignition, said, "We're done for today, I'm going home." He said because you can't. Oh, we got the Popos heading up to the housing projects way up on Sabata Street. 3-4 nights a week. Immigrantville. Drug dealings up there, shootings, all kinds of stuff. And I know that's where they're going. Well, just as I say that, they're turned off to the left. So I guess they're not going there. Forget it. I don't know what I'm talking about. But that behooves the point. You know, we see the police head up there 3-4 nights a week, actually, for something. Anyway, Kurt Russell was like, well, that's it. And he said any film he's ever worked on, something like that happens, you can never get in the right mindset to finish the scenes you're doing. And the director will usually just say, okay, wrap it up, we'll come back tomorrow, and that's what happened. But anyway, he said Quentin Tarantino is a great guy. I believe that. And I don't think he's really gotten himself into too much trouble with politics. For or nay. And that's the way they should be. We'll wait and see where he's going. It's a Bambulance. Now over here we got the Dairy Joy. This is going to be nice when it opens. I come here at least once, maybe twice a summer. I might actually come here more often. Make it a part of my walk. Come down here and get some. That's one of my favorites right here, peanut butter supreme. Oh, a large one, freaking extra large is $7.50 now. Oh my God. And they have dairy-free ice cream for people that are lactose intolerant. Soft serve ice cream. A large is $5. I guess that's all right. All right. Well, it's a cool place to come in the summertime. There's usually lines of people standing here waiting to get an ice cream. That's another place that's cash only. So I hope you're enjoying this night walk with me. And trust me, I'm going to be doing more night walks as the saison progresse. As the season progresses, it starts getting warmer, I go for more night walks. And it's just very simple reasons. One, it's if I go walking this much in the summertime, in the sun every day, I'll be 70, 80 years old, and I'll have to have my nose removed from nose cancer or something. I don't feel like putting sunblock on every time I go for a walk, even though I do every weekend when we go shooting. That's something I do every time we go shooting. I don't put it on my ears because my ear protection covers my ears, the type I wear. But I put it on the back of my neck, on my cheeks and my nose, and on my arms. I can't really go there with shorts on because of ticks and things like that over there, sand fleas. So, but it's not bad. So, we're going to remote control vehicle. Hey, that's pretty cool. We had the cheap ones. We had the cheap ones in the 70s that ran on those big giant batteries. They never lasted.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, you probably remember that.
I remember that, yeah. That was great.
You guys get the best toys now.
Yeah, it runs off of that type of battery.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have to put like 6 friggin' D cells in it. Weighed like 5 pounds, you know.
Weighs 36 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too. Awesome. Oh, that's cool. Remote control buggy. Well, that's why, you know, I like to go for these walks. You get the exercise, see what's going on in your neighborhood, find out if you're going to get your throat cut in the wrong part of town or not. Probably be pretty cool to make a hat, right? I just had a fiendish idea. Get a hat. I don't know what kind of hat. It could be something stupid. Something where you could put a hole in the front, and then you wear the GoPro on your head with a hat over it so the lens can fit through the hole. Then go see a movie. You'd have to sit still through the whole thing and not move. But I'm not really interested enough in making a cam copy of a movie to do that, because I don't put anything on the internet like that that's copyrighted and illegal. And usually these days, something's only worth going to see once. So, the coffee place. I don't know how good they are compared to Cumberland Farms. It's a Nouria, N-O-U-R-I-A. N-O-U-R-I-A, Nouria. Everybody knows that song. N-O-U-R-I-A, Nouria. All right, I'll stop now. So anyways, we're walking along. Car wash. At the car wash. As you can tell, I love music. So there's a song for everything. You can associate everything. Whether it's signs, roads, streets, firearms, women, men, ice cream, milkshakes. So it was nice to take a day off from walking. I did calculate that I walked almost 36 miles. Came out to about a 36-mile total. 5.5 here, 5.8 there, 6.2, 6.3. I had one that was 6.8. So it was good. I got my miles in. Oh, I could smell pot again. Somebody sitting in the car there, a couple young people smoking weed, some music playing. It's legal now. Kind of takes the fun out of it. You know, back in the day, people used to go like, let's go up to the woods behind the high school on the trails. We'll go drink some beers and smoke some weed. You know, you're 17, 18 years old. Doing something illegal. Now they've legalized it, so well, they're just going to sit in the parking lot in front of everybody and just smoke pot. It kind of loses its cool factor, if you ask me. Anyways, I also think we had better days when we didn't have the internet. That's a yes and no, okay? If you had a problem with your light bill, you had to physically go to the light company in their office that they had in the building and hash things out with them, which, if I remember right, my dad got at them one time and tried to flip the guy's desk over. I believe that's the story I heard. So, my dad was a nice guy. He just had a temper. I worked as a bouncer for a while and a bartender. It was a tough one. He was a scrapper. And I miss him a lot. So anyway, we're heading on up the road. There's a nails and spa. I did my nails earlier. I had some clippers and saved a lot of money. I'm gonna clip my own talons, thank you very much. So for this part of the walk, I'm gonna talk about something serious having to do with sea life and sea animals. And it just made me more angry with these climate people who are wasting tons and tons of money and resources on a political agenda instead of cleaning up the damn oceans. And they're gonna cry about sea turtles with plastic witch fingers from Halloween that ended up killing the turtle because it ingested it. They took plastic bags out of animals, pieces of plastic. Plastic, plastic, plastic. Well, wouldn't that be nice if the $500 million that they waste on the climate, they could just clean the seas with it? Sit down with those South Asian countries that are doing most of it, the pollution, and India. Say, you know, we need to work this out. This benefits everybody. This affects your fishing. It affects everything. Your economies. Like in Maine here, lobstering is $700-something million business. So anyway, in southern Florida, I'll get to that in a second as we look at the Easter decor, now that the wind hasn't blown everything over and they have everything inflated. I'm sure you can see this. Hopefully this looks good on a night setting. Well, they got some deflateds. They're deflated. They're having a tough time with the weather right now. But anyway, we'll come back when they have everything all squared away and nice looking. So, anyway, southern Florida, Florida Keys, south of Fort Lauderdale. They are having some of the oldest known sea creatures, prehistoric, swordfish, sawfish. Everybody has seen sawfish where their snout looks like saw blades, like a chainsaw. They found about 20 of them dead, and they found some that were alive. They were disoriented. They didn't know which way to go. They were confused. And they've also been finding many species of fish seemingly doing somersaults and cartwheels in the water. They can't tell which way is up. They're swimming weird and they're dying. All right, so, well, it should be easy to explain, right? They'll do a biopsy of dead animals. And, all right, we see this neurological thing going on. Maybe there's poison. Maybe some toxic red tide, because Florida has problems with red tide sometimes. Nope, didn't find a damn thing. No pathogens whatsoever. No chemicals, nothing. They are absolutely baffled. They don't know what caused it, and it's spreading further north. Now, can you imagine something in the ocean, either runoff or something they're not detecting? Water runoff, pollution, or... And of course, most of the articles I read about it today were trying to explain it as it's possible it might be a climate thing. Of course, they got to do that, right? Temperature has increased 5 degrees, the water temperature. 5 whole degrees. Millions of years of evolution can't handle it, apparently. Just because we have an unusually warm year this year. So, anyway, they did have record heat in Florida, southern Florida. A couple days they had 112. Now, I don't know about you, but Florida's got really oppressive humidity. And then to have 112 degrees, that's got to feel like 140 in Nevada, you know? Got to. The humidity is horrible. So, anyway. These animals, that is happening. Nobody knows why. So nobody should be throwing around possibilities as to what's causing it if they don't know. But hey, they have a climate agenda to sell, so that's what they're going to do. Maybe it's some kind of space technology the military's been messing with, and their navigation is all messed up on the fish, because we all know that fish are, a lot of them are migratory. They know the seasons, like salmon. Salmon know where to go to spawn, and when that parent dies and the new babies are born, they go to the same place the parent did. They know where to go. It's pre-programmed. Pretty amazing if you think about it. So maybe there's some electromagnetic interference of some sort, or some kind of frequency that they use that we're not familiar with, that's messing them up. Maybe it's some kind of sound in the water the military's making that we can't hear, kind of like dogs. They hear ultrasonic sounds, or hypersonic, I should say. So could be something like that, and it's just messing them up because it's water. Sound travels through it. I know the Russian military has a weapon on their ships deployed. It's a weapon specifically designed, it's electromagnetic, and they think it has something to do with, you remember those US intelligence people in Cuba that were getting disoriented and having ringing in their ears and problems like that from some kind of sonic attack. So that might be related to something like that that the Russian military is using, or the Chinese military, or our own military. They'd never say, because if they're out there testing that and those are the side effects, they're never going to say that's what it was. So we're at 4.5 miles. So I'm not going to go down toward Thorncraig. We're going to walk by Hannaford's, which is now after hours. They close at 9. So I don't know if it's something like that, but it's very well could be. And the weapon I'm talking about is they have like this electromagnetic beam that they can shoot at an enemy ship, and it disorientates the crew, makes them sick to their stomach, they vomit, they're confused, vision is blurry, they can't concentrate, and it makes them feel sick. And it would make them feel sick long enough to attack and sink the ship. So that's technology they have now, and they're using it. Just like the United States Navy now has a laser weapon on their ship. Very powerful. Can burn through a hole, burn a hole through a ship. This is all online from official sites. It's not some weird government's out to get you website. It's you know, because you see a lot of weird things online, you know. But that is true. They have those kinds of weapons now. They haven't been perfected yet. So, you know, like the one on the Navy ship that I was telling you about that can fire at ships from huge distances because it's light, basically. And it can be instant. Problem with it is it's really large, cumbersome, probably prone to malfunction. It's new technology. They'll perfect it like they do with everything else, and then things will be a lot worse than they are. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I'm waiting to see what they find out about that in the Florida Keys with animals. There's definitely something going on, for sure. So they found 20 dead swordfish, sawfish I mean, and it's not affecting all species. That's the other thing. Very strange. So there's some kind of connection between that species. All right, we got St. Patrick's Day. We got the drinkers out having a cigarette. Sounds like a live band. Sounds like their own music, so I don't have to worry about copyrights. YouTube is funny with that. If it is, the algorithm will pick it up. .337 and 9/10. Let's just call it 338. That's what it is. All right. Coming up on 5 miles. I'll be signing off shortly. We might run out of juice, actually. But I'm doing 1080p, so it might last longer. And I'm not running boost full throttle. So I'm kind of anxious to see how this looks. This will be my first finalized agreement on my settings. And we'll see how she looks. Rupas. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. As we look at the green street lights, they're celebrating St. Patty's Day too. I never did figure out what happened to this telephone pole. It looks a little bit snafu. It looks like it got broken. They put in a new pole. That's what it looks like to me. And then they used the old pole as a brace for it. And they bolted it to it. That's what it looks like. Tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead, I dare you. People love telling me I'm wrong. It's like a hobby. We dream it, we help you get it. All right. In case you couldn't tell, that was a motorcycle. Pretty loud one. So we'll end this walk. We're just about where we started it, outside the wonderful Val's Drive-In. This could turn off at any minute, out of battery. Upgrade and get up to $1,200 off any phone. Holy crap, really? I would never pay $1,200 for a phone that's going to be obsolete in less than a year and a half. But people got to have the latest, greatest. I just have a phone that does what I need it to. It's a Samsung Galaxy. It's got a fantastic night photos filter lens on it for nighttime. Fantastic. Some of the best photos at night I have ever taken. They look professional. Wish they had that for the iPhone. Maybe they do on the newer ones. I don't know. But my point is, the Samsung I have is a $300 phone. And it's wonderful. I don't need to spend $1,200 on a phone. Or even $600. Or $800. For one thing, they malfunction too easy. You can drop them and break them, whatever. Or they'll just have issues, or the battery will go kaput. And I guess the newer iPhones, you can't replace the battery. So that's definitely a no sale for me. My old iPhone crapped the bed. I went and had a new battery put in, cost $40. A guy in Auburn did it in his little shop. All right, we're at 5 miles, 1 hour and 35 minutes. Not a bad time, not my best, but we stopped at the church and smelled the roses, as it were. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I'm gonna sign off, say thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed an almost daily walking vlog. Walking with Beau. Have a good night. Talk to you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.